So in the other video, I shared what the student experience is like in ALEKS in terms of a practice test, and then taking a real test, and then using the information from the real test, which is populated instantaneously, to be able to go back and practice the skills that they need to improve on the practice test. In this video, I'm going to run through what the teacher side of this looks like. So on the teacher side, I get a breakdown of a report of the score for each student. But when I click the actual test and I go to view report, extremely quickly I can go to item analysis and I see the question that my students missed the most. These are the top 5 most missed questions. And so let's say that I was like, holy moly, 22%, 19%, and 15%. I need to do something about that. Now this is in reality, this is the step that gets forgotten about often in our system, because coming up with more problems and more practice is frankly an unrealistic amount of work, in addition to having to plan for the next day. And so the now what, so what often gets left behind. Well, with ALEKS, it's this easy. 22% of my students missed this question. I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to click this. And at the beginning of the period, I'm going to have this up there and have students get their whiteboards or get their notebooks open or whatever it happens to be. And I'll have this problem here that it took me no work to create. I just said, hey, ALEKS, give me a problem like that. So I've got this up for students. Give them some time to try it, turn their whiteboards around, whatever that happens to be. As the teacher, I have a solve button, so I can throw the correct answer up there without having to do the work of doing it myself ahead of time. And then I can say, try another. And it will randomly populate these questions for my students to use as a opportunity to relearn or to practice this in a whole class setting just this easily. And I can do this forever. So we can literally, if a skill was important enough, practice the skill for an entire period with randomly generated problems from ALEKS, if it was something that I felt justified spending time on with my students. This is a resource like no other in terms of the fact that I don't have to go to the copy machine. I don't have to do any creating of problems or looking through problems to make sure it's the type of problem that I want, because it's obviously the type of problem that I want. I put it on my test. And so now, again, as many of these as I want, I can run through an infinite number of them with my students. And if we set it up the way that I had described setting up the practice test, students could also do that and just go on and say, hey, number 7, I recognize that I need more practice on number 7, and I'm going to work on that one on the practice test. Just another way that ALEKS is pretty awesome about being able to do something about the results that we get from an exam.